In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about a surefire way for you to probably not get hired again on productions. So let's go. All right, everybody. As you can hear, I've lost a bit of my voice. I'm on the tail end of something, but I'm fine. And it's not called the daily drop for no reason. It's daily. So we just keep moving forward. All right. So again, sort of on the producer track of things, one of the things I wanted to talk about was not something that's happening to me right now, but I have encountered in the past, which is our business, especially from a producer's standpoint, is very much about hiring independent contractors, freelancers. And when you're planning a production, one of the things that you want to do is, or you generally will do, is have specific people in mind for particular roles that you need to fill in your crew. And one of the things that's pretty standard in our industry is when you're speaking to an existing or a prospective client, they may say, we're looking at this week or these days or this 2-week block as a potential for a production. So what you do is you reach out to those people, you find out what their availability is. If they're available, what you'll normally do is say to them, could you please soft hold those dates? And if you get challenged, let me know so that I can go back to the client potentially and say, well, one of our main positions, the director of photography, is being asked about those dates right now. And sometimes that can actually push a job past the point to get it through and past the finish line. And that's pretty standard. And over the years, that's kind of been the way I've been asked to do things as a day player. And that's the way I've asked people that I'm hiring to do certain things. Well, yeah, they're being contracted. So here's the scenario, which I have run into more than once in my career. You have somebody soft hold, the job books, so that means it's firm. They are booked for that job, and they come back to you a week and a half before the production and say, I just got offered another job, a longer job, and I can make more money, so I'm bailing. Well, depending on the scenario, the first thing I'm going to make sure that person does, if they can, is help find a suitable replacement for that position that they were going to fill. But if you're doing that, especially less than 2 weeks before a job, because I always try to make sure that people know whether or not they're moving forward with a production at least 2 weeks before, if I can. If they're bailing less than that time, especially, you're really potentially screwed. And if it happens once, maybe. If it happens a second time, it doesn't matter how good that person is or how much they contribute. What they're saying to you is, I'll always take another job for more money. Now, there's passion projects or opportunities that come up for people that are the exceptions to this, and you have to understand that. But it all comes around. So if you're booked on a 3-day job and a 5-day job comes up where you get 2 extra days at the same rate, or you get another 3-day job that's at a better rate, and you take that instead of the job you're already booked on, chances are you're probably not going to get hired by that producer again. And the reason is pretty obvious. There's no trust that you're actually going to make those dates a priority and that you're really booked for the job. So just know, if you haven't run into this and you're being hired by producers, if you book for those 3 days, do the 3 days. Because if you bail, you're probably never working with that producer again. And that producer, over years, I can say this for myself, may be giving you weeks or months or maybe even more in terms of work. There's no guarantee. There never is in this business, but just know that your actions and what you're doing will have an impact on a potential production or on a production. And if you're doing that as a standard, then A, you're motivated by money, probably nothing else, except for those exceptions and those passion projects. And B, the trust factor is going to go down. You're probably not going to get recommended, so on and so forth. This is a tiny little world. Most people know other people who know other people. Forget about 6 degrees of separation, Kevin Bacon. It's maybe 2, 3 at most. There you go. That's my advice. I'll get my voice back. Don't forget to. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.